SDG goals impact your localities?
SDGs in our locality really transform our municipality into a better place. With the help of SDG number 1, the poverty rate in Quezon was decreased with the implementation of Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program or PORPIS and the Tulong Panagbiag of project of the local government unit of Quezon. When it comes to SDG number 2, through the feeding program, the municipality's malnutrition rate of 0 to 5 years old children has lowered from year 2016 to 2020. Let's move on to SDG number 3. One of the quality projects of LGU Quezon is the improvement of barangay health station facilities. It opened door for every Quezonians to improve their well-being and maintain good health through free access of medicines, vitamins, and other necessities. With the help of SDG number 3, the citizens of Quezon is getting protected by the COVID-19 virus by conducting the municipality's vaccination for its citizens. When it comes to SDG number 4, currently there are 2,300 scholars of LGU Quezon, and with this kind of opportunities, no Quezonians are left behind in education. When it comes to SDG number 5, acceptance to LGBTQ and recognition of women's leadership is highly acknowledged in our municipality, and I confidently say this because I am one of those witnesses on how our LGU promotes advocacies and conducting symposium regarding women empowerment and the annual celebration of Women's Month, as well as the supporting Miss Gay Beauty Contest for LGBTQ community. When I was a child, during my elementary days, we only used bomba and gripo to have access and water. But in the last 5 years, starting 2016, there are a lot of improvements in our municipality. The installation of level 2 water supply facility and 5 barangays in our municipality gives every household the opportunity to have a clean, drinkable water. In SDG number 7, Quezon is currently promoting and installing solar-powered equipment for renewable energy. And SDG number 8, tulong panagbiag sa ating disadvantaged displaced workers, otherwise known as TUPAD, is giving decent work for the unemployed individuals in our municipality. LGU Quezon is now known and popular to other localities for its paper beads, weaving livelihood program, and indigenous enable craft. The collaboration of this product has brought honor to our municipality and Bambanti Festival 2019 by winning the Best Bambanti King and Queen costume. As promised by the administration to bring our municipality in progress and development, they are continuing the provision and building of municipal infrastructure projects. These projects include the Quezon Coliseum, new community hospital, Quezon Evacuation Center, new PNP office, small water impounding projects or SWIP provided for farmers, road concreting of farms to market roads, improvement of barangay community centers, Quezon Sanitary Landfill, Quezon Eco Forest, and Barangay Health Station Level 2 water supply facility. And SDG number 10, with the rise of negosyo center and equality and business support has been reduced, especially for the organic products originated in our town. At present, these businesses are producing their products in some areas of the country and Metro Manila. And SDG number 11, the first operational sanitary landfill facility in Isabela was built in our municipality. Currently, the administration is maintaining its transparency on their project proposal. Include Isabela State University Quezon Campus, New Quezon Market, new BFP office, and Quezon Legislative Building. These proposed projects are basis to look forward for sustainable Quezon in the future. And SDG number 12, LGU Quezon, through the Department of Agriculture, empowers responsible consumption and production in the municipality by innovating certain food products and improving it in a different way. When it comes to SDG number 13, the Ordinance number 2017-205 is an ordinance prohibiting the use of plastic bags on dry goods is implemented in whole municipality. There is also strict implementation of RA 9003 in our area in a monthly tree planting activities as a support to climate action. Moreover, the municipality fingerlings, dispersal by fish pan owners and fish growers, and the financial assistance to fisher folks association shows action to SDG number 14, which is life below on water. And SDG number 15, the development of municipal eco-forests is another action of our MANRO to renew the beauty of nature in a modern way and to preserve the municipality's flora and fauna. And SDG number 16, our authorities are imposing strong and order in our locality by tracking crimes and illegal activities such as gambling and drug businesses and more. The installation of street lights and CCTV cameras in public places serves as foundation of safety of individuals and essential in maintaining safety environment. Lastly, in SDGs number 17, the municipalities of Quezon is continuously partnering to the different agencies of government to make the 17 Sustainable Development Goals successfully come true in the near future.
What other initiatives can be implemented to ensure the country's success in meeting the CDs?
Cities and localities should contribute to the development of the SDG goals since governments alone will not be able to accomplish the ambitious goals of the 2030 Agenda. A local SDG plan will assist us in establishing a sustainable administration model that is built on pillars of social justice, economic growth, and institutional strengthening. Every community should explore how eco-industry, offshore wind power generation, ecotourism, and culture may provide additional work opportunities for youth while also promoting social cohesion through intergenerational solidarity. To accelerate progress toward the SDGs, the government should embrace three approach: raising awareness, taking action, and holding decision makers accountable for progress. Conducting SDG Activate Talk series, symposiums, campaigns, and advocacies will also make citizens change makers to the stage to showcase for decision makers the ways they are supporting the goals and to inspire others to take action. More discussion without tangible step is something the world does not need. The only approach to ensure that the 17 SDG goals are prioritized is to utilize our voice and active engagement to petition policymakers and private enterprise to do so. We must utilize our voices to make a difference. We must exercise our right to speak up. Write a letter, send an email, or call your representative. Demand that they try to pass legislation to help people living in poverty. Our government should work with the private sector to provide the money needed to support Filipino businesses, resulting in job creation and economic growth in the Philippines. Food security is critical for everyone's future, sustainability, and justice. Hunger stifles human progress, making it impossible to achieve other sustainable development goals like education, health, and gender equality. Reduce food waste by only buying what you know you'll eat. Meal planning is a wonderful strategy, among other things, for reducing household food waste. You may avoid overbuying by planning your meals for the week and producing a list of the essential items, saving money, and lowering the likelihood of the tossing away uneaten food. You may also use your purchasing power to affect by change by supporting and working with sustainable businesses that support and strive toward ending hunger. You can also join the Zero Hunger Challenge to support the global movement for zero hunger. You may save electricity on a personal level by plugging equipment into a power strip and turning them off when not in use. Walking, biking, and ride sharing can help you save energy and lower your carbon impact. You can also use social media tools to promote awareness and push for change. If we're truly committed to achieving the sustainable development goals, we will need passionate, dedicated professionals in a variety of areas who are trained to lead the way in changing sustainability practices and inspiring others to follow. Leaders and individuals dedicated to working for justice, combating poverty and injustice, and implementing sustainable practices will work together to create the society we all want to live in. With the right tools and information, children and young people can play a critical role in the implementation and monitoring of the SDGs, sparking action in their communities and holding leaders to account. Educators can use the world's largest lesson to teach students about the SDGs and identify actions children and young people can take to make the goals a reality in their communities.
Why is gender equality crucial for sustainable development?
Accelerating sustainable development requires empowering women and fostering gender equality. It is crucial because we will not be able to attain the SDG goals if only men are given the opportunity to lead. Women should also participate because we can do little on our own, but we can do a lot when we work together and we can achieve a lot in terms of sustainable development. It is critical because putting an end to all types of discrimination against women and girls is not only a basic human right, but it also has a multiplier impact in other areas of development. Since 2000, UNDP has made gender equality a priority in its work in collaboration with UN partners and the rest of the global community, and we've seen some spectacular results. In comparison to 15 years ago, more girls are now in school and gender parity and primary education has been achieved in the majority of regions. Outside of agriculture, women currently account for 41% of paid workers, up from 35% in 1990. The Sustainable Development Goals aim to build on this accomplishment by ensuring that discrimination against women and girls is eradicated globally. In some locations, there are still considerable discrepancies between men and women in the labor market as well as huge inequities in paid work access, sexual abuse and exploitation, unfair division of unpaid care and domestic work, and discrimination in public decision making continue to be significant obstacles. To achieve this goal, it is critical to ensure universal access to sexual and reproductive health care, as well as equal rights to economic resources such as land and property for women. Although there are more women in public office than ever before, promoting more female leaders in all regions will assist enhance policies and regulation to promote gender equality. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development has 17 global goals, one of which is gender equality. For development on various goals, an integrated approach is essential.
How does gender impact men and women in society, especially in COVID-19 times?
According to a new study, more women have lost their employment as a result of the coronavirus outbreak than males. According to the McKinsey Global Institute's research, COVID-19 and gender equality, countering the regressive consequences, women account for about 2/5 of the global labor force but have lost more than half of all job losses as a result of the crisis. As a result, they are 1.18 times susceptible to the pandemic effects than men. In terms of education, according to UNESCO forecast from July 2020, boys are more likely than girls to drop out of university, primary, and lower secondary school, while the inverse is true for pre-primary and upper secondary school. However, in both sub-Saharan Africa and South Asia, where the majority of at-risk children live, adolescent girls have a very high risk of not returning to school. Gender was important in the workplace, even more so than education, region, or generation. According to a recent study by Maurice Kogler and colleagues, using harmonized high-frequency phone survey data for 40 largely developing nations, women were more likely to lose their jobs in the early months of the crisis. Between April and June 2020, women workers were 36% more likely than males to lose their jobs. According to a research conducted in the Philippines, women had a 44% higher likelihood of losing their jobs at the start of the crisis than men. Although there is still evidence on how job losses for men and women change after the initial phase of the epidemic, the existing data suggests that women have been slower to return to paid work than men. Business run by women appear to have suffered greater unfavorable consequences than those led by males in various countries. Some of these disparities are due to the fact that as a result of school closures and an increase in sick family members, women have taken on more responsibility for additional care demands, further limiting their time availability and capacity to return to work as economies recover. Furthermore, women have suffered in terms of personal protection. While the data is sensitive and difficult to get, all signs point to an increase in violence against women. There was a significant increase in the number of calls to helplines, the number of cases in service provider registers, police reports, and in a few cases specific surveys on the subject. COVID-19 cast various shadows on men and women lives and livelihoods, as can be shown. The primary task now will be to take use of this fresh data and research and to turn it into policy initiative that will help us emerge stronger and more prepared for the future. Gender disparities in endowments, economic opportunities, and agency that existed prior to the epidemic have grown significantly as a result of the crisis. Not only must a determined effort to be made to empower women and girls around the world, but it is also necessary to avoid women and girls from falling behind again in the event of future shocks.
How does globalization affect your daily life?
In my journey in studying contemporary world, we have that activity entitled A Day in My Life, where we are required to list down all the products that we use from the moment we wake up in the morning till we sleep at night. And in this activity, I have come to realize that wherever I go and whatever I do, globalization is always there with me, and I myself cannot be departed from it because every moment and every second in my life, there is that item or products that are made or manufactured by the different countries in the world. And that is all about globalization. Globalization makes people and countries exchange goods and information more quickly in a less complicated way. For instance, this morning I woke up and put on a t-shirt that read Made in China on the inside tag. I then went out to our garage and got a bike that I had parts that were manufactured in all parts of the world. I ride that bike to the grocery store where I bought apples that were grown in Australia, sugar from Thailand, and tomato sauce from United States. And at night, I then use skin products that are imported in different parts of the world. So see, globalization is always there with me. Globalization, in other words, influences me the way I think, the way I act, what I feel, and how do I make decisions in my life. Globalization affects my mental health, physical, and even my emotional health. Russia, on the other hand, is the world's second largest oil producer, and any disruptions in supply will result in a spike in oil prices around the world. This means that if the cost of manufacturing rises, so does the cost of our groceries, causing us stress and straining our wallets. Watching K-dramas and Thai series made me learn to speak their language and understand more their culture, which I believe one of the ways to support cultural diversity. Of course, there's the fact that globalization allows you to interact with people from different cultures. And then there's the fact that identities are lost as a result of globalization. We follow the tradition of other cultures rather than our own, or we do both. We are affected by the melting of icebergs since we are the ones who cause it by not recycling and polluting excessively. This has influenced me in such a way that I have realized that what we do has an impact of not only those around us, but also for everyone. Any action I take, like a drop of rain in water, creates a wave, whether small or large, that affects everyone. Simply put, globalization does not affect us in only one way, either negatively or positively. It most likely affects us in both ways, but not all of effects are visible from day to day. In fact, globalization does not harm you daily, but rather influences you on a daily basis.
How did globalization change the world?
The standard of living for persons living in developing countries has improved in many cases. Globalization has improved the level of living for many developing countries by allowing firms to expand globally, which has resulted in better roads transportation, better healthcare, and better education. Globalization, on the other hand, has an adverse effect on us. Environmental deterioration has been caused by increased transportation and a global movement away from polluting manufacturing industries. Pollution has a negative impact on biodiversity levels globally and is hurting people's health. For people who live in developing countries, the quality of life has improved in many ways. Globalization has resulted in a rise in the standard of living for many developing countries. To improve roads and transportation, improve health care, and improve education as a result of corporate expansion around the world. Globalization has benefited many parts of civilization, from virtual connections to more inexpensive items like clothing and food. This is because globalization has reduced the cost of goods and increased trade. It has also led to a greater understanding of cultures. The way governments, businesses, and individuals interact is changing as a result of globalization. It alters the structure of international economic activity by facilitating commerce, creating global supply networks, and facilitating access to natural resources and labor markets. People and cultures exchange ideas, experiences, and lifestyles. People can try meals and other things that they couldn't get in their home nations. Globalization raises awareness of events occurring in far-flung corners of the globe. Businesses are no longer limited by national boundaries. They can expand globally, diversify their operations, and cut costs by relocating manufacturing activities to nations with the cheapest labor resources or better raw materials availability. Money can now move further than ever before because expanding trade and increased worldwide connections. Companies can now operate across borders and reach a larger audience, resulting in increased profitability and eventually economic growth. A corporation in one country can now sell its product from halfway around the world. Thanks to globalization, it can also construct stores and factories, make a commodity investments, and contribute to the local economy. People can relocate to wealthier nations and create their own business or find jobs as a result of globalization. This equates to a greater salary and more opportunities. Migrants can also transfer money home without having to pay excessive fees. Trade unions can also fight for workers' rights around the world because to the free flow of information and technology. Labor rights improved when new rules and regulations were implemented. Furthermore, sensitive problems like equal pay and gender parity are becoming less and less common. The unrestricted flow of products and resources is one of the most important benefits of globalization. For example, a country that is specialized in automobiles will manufacture cars and accessories at a place that achieves the lowest feasible cost and sell them both domestically and internationally. This means that consumers and other nations will be able to buy these vehicles for a lower price. They will also have access to a broader variety of brands and models. Individuals and families all around the world have experienced the effects of globalization on their standard of living and quality of life. A socioeconomic class standard of living in a certain geographic location is defined as the amount of wealth, comfort, material things, and requirements available to them. The degree to which a person enjoys the major opportunities in his or her life is referred to as quality of life. For those who live in developing countries, their quality of life has improved in many ways, thanks to globalization.
What do you envision to be your possible contribution in advancing the welfare of this present as well as the future generation of people in the world as a
Everyone
whole?
desires to be wealthy and successful. I also want to be successful in the field of education that I have chosen. I feel that through working in this field, I am able to play a part in training the next generation to lead the country's welfare and economic prosperity. I will use my voice and strength to advocate in making come true the ambition 2040 of million Filipinos. As a future educator, I will influence my students and the youth to do their part and take their action in making the Philippines a better place. I will conduct symposium, attend webinar, join active talk series, participate in trainings and seminars that promotes matatag, maginhawa, at panatag na buhay of my countrymen. I will create flags, bulletin flyers, and join different foundation, fundraising, and organization that supports end of poverty. I will encourage my family members to support the government policies and programs in making our world a safe place to live in. I will do my best to help the poor and people in need by sharing what I have because helping others is my true inner essence of happiness. I know the feeling of having nothing and being helpless. I experienced different works and the farms and jobs just to support my studies, and I came from a very poor family. That's why I always dream that one day when I succeeded in life, I will make a scholarship program for the young and poor students like me. It doesn't matter how many students I will help, whether it's 1, 3, or 10. What's matter and important to me is that I am helping them and I am making a change for their lives as well as creating future active nation builders for the next generation of our country. That is one of my mission I always dream of and I aspire to do and have in the future. There's so much I aim and I wish to do for myself and for my beloved country. Too many to mention, but above all, I always recognize the power of Almighty God, His grace and guidance to make my goals come true, for without Him, I am nothing and I will do nothing. I also wish to contribute to my country. Poverty, illiteracy, and catechism are only a few of the issues that plague the country. Our country was previously known for its cultural legacy, but it has now been stripped of everything. The country's crime rate as well as the variety of other challenges, it is an all-time high. While there are many flaws in the Philippines political system that have contributed to these issues, we cannot place all the blame on the administration. Each of us should contribute our fair share to growth of our country. When I reach my late 20s, I want to work for a non-profit organization that helps the impoverished and underprivileged. I aspire to eradicate poverty and social disparity in our country and I will do everything I can do to achieve this goal. We will undoubtedly be able to save our country from these horrors if we all join hands. According to the belief, we may manifest everything we thought and dream about. The universe assists us in manifesting our dominating thoughts into reality. When your heart is sincerely craves something, the entire universe conspires to help you attain that thing. Paulo Coelho stated, simply because it is a desire that emanated from the soul of the world. Always remember that you must believe in yourself and have entire faith in your dreams in order to achieve them. We will all live in a stable and comfortable environment in 2040 knowing that we will have enough money to meet our everyday necessities and unforeseen expenses, and that we will be able to plan and prepare for our own and our children's future. Our family lives in its own home and we have the freedom to go wherever we want and with a government that is clean, efficient, and fair. I also believe that every Filipino should be able to meet their daily necessities while also saving for unexpected expenses such as illnesses, natural catastrophes, and man-made disasters. The Philippines shall be a country where all inhabitants are free from hunger and poverty, have equal opportunities, and are governed in a fair and just manner, a country where families coexist in dynamic, culturally diverse, and resilient communities.